Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Poets and Quants' online MBA panel. Today, we're talking with program directors from 4 top programs. I'm your host, Christy Bleiseffer with Poets and Quants, and please feel free to use the Q&A function to submit any questions you might have for our panelists. I want to welcome our guests today, and thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules. We'll dive right in with Narissa. Will you please start by introducing yourself, your school, and telling us a little bit about your mission, values, and reputation?
Thank you, Christy, and thanks to Poets and Quants for having me on this panel. My name is Narissa Brown. I'm the Associate Dean of Grad Programs here in the Gies College of Business at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. And so let me talk a little bit about the core mission of our online MBA program and broadly our Gies online programs. The mission of our programs is tied very closely to the land-grant mission of our university and primarily revolves around our overarching goal of democratizing business education by breaking down traditional barriers to access. So we take pride in making sure that our programs are affordable, flexible, and innovative. And so those are the 3 core tenets that we operate under. And our goal is to really bring high quality graduate business education to everyone, regardless of their location, background, or financial means. With respect to reputation, us working towards this mission has really panned out great for us. We're one of the most innovative online MBA programs that operate at scale. And in 2020, Poets and Quants actually named us the biggest business school innovation of the decade. And then last year, our dean was selected as the 2021 Dean of the Year by Poets and Quants as well. We have an awesome learner satisfaction rate at 96%, and over 90% of our students would recommend a colleague to join our online MBA program. We're also, I think we're one of the most diverse programs in the nation. And then, last year we got a pretty cool statistic showing that our online MBA program actually accounts for 10% of all online learners enrolled in an MBA program in the nation. And so we feel like that's just outstanding. So thank you, Christy. I'll turn it back to you.
Wow, that's great. Thank you very much. Stacy, how about you?
Right. And again, thank you, Christy, and to Poets and Quants as well. So my name is Stacy Durang-Peeler, and I'm the Managing Director of the Penn State Online MBA program, which is led by the Smeal College of Business in partnership with the Penn State World Campus. A little bit about Penn State. We're located in the middle of Pennsylvania with over 20 campuses across our Commonwealth, many of which we draw from to deliver our online program. This campus also includes the World Campus. Our Penn State Alumni Network, this is one of the things we're probably most known for, is over 700,000. Our students, when they're in the online MBA program, they're considered Penn State students, World Campus students, and Smeal College of Business students. Currently, when we talk about scale, as Narissa mentioned, we've got about 1,000 students currently in our program, so we do have a very large and diverse student body. The Smeal College of Business values also tie very much to our university goals and values: extraordinary education, research with impact, focus on integrity, diversity enhancement, and sustainability. And our goal is to be your business partner in lifelong learning. So tying to that, to touch a little bit on the Penn State values that are, of course, overarching, integrity overlaps certainly both respect, responsibility, discovery, excellence, and community. So we are a very collaborative and engaged online program that is team-based, and I'm sure we'll get to talk more about that soon. So thank you for letting me introduce Penn State.
Thank you so much. How about you, Chelsea?
Yes, thank you so much for having us, Christy. My name is Chelsea Hillman, and I'm the Managing Director of Professional Programs for the Tippie College of Business at the University of Iowa, located in Iowa City. And the University of Iowa is known as the Writers, the Communication and University with the Iowa Writers Workshop. And with the Iowa MBA and the Tippie College of Business, we're really focused on educating and inspiring lifelong learners through high quality, affordable educational experiences that empower individuals to positively impact workplaces and enrich communities and become agents of change. So a lot of our programs are focused on the application. We have about 1,300 MBA students enrolled this fall, 60% of which who live in Iowa, 40% live outside of the state, covering 44 states and the District of Columbia. And one thing I'll say about our program is that we're a big program that feels small. We offer students strong connections with their peers and faculty. And we have a very flexible program for working professionals with 3 starts a year. 40% of the curriculum is elective, so they can really customize it to their career goals and application, as I mentioned. We're very agile and responsive to both market trends, employer needs, and student feedback. When it comes to reputation, we are AACSB accredited. We're the number 36 best part-time program from US News and World Report and number 1 in Iowa. And we also were recently ranked number 14 overall best online MBA program and number 7 best public online MBA program by the Princeton Review. So thank you so much for having us today.
Well, thank you for joining us. And Sherry, tell us a little bit about your school.
Hi, Christy. And again, thank you to Poets and Quants for having me and all of us here on the panel today. I'm Sherry Moss. I'm the Associate Dean of our MBA programs at Wake Forest University. We are located in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, but we also have Charlotte, campus in Charlotte, North Carolina. The slogan for our university is Pro Humanitate, which means for humanity. That's very consistent with our focus in our MBA programs on the idea of living your life and changing your world. We like for our programs to be very flexible and accessible so that you can deal with your work life, your personal life, and go to school at the same time and get your degree. We also embrace what we call the teacher-scholar model, where we give just as much emphasis on our very personalized approach to education in the classroom and our personalized attention to students, along with our serious emphasis on scholarly endeavors. We also focus very much on being very in tune with the market and making sure that all of our curricular endeavors are informed by the market and what the market is telling us they need in terms of student preparation to exist in this changing world. We are a top 30 university, a national university. Our working professional MBAs, our MBA programs are top 20 in the nation, and we are number 1 in North Carolina. I will say that we are relatively new to the online MBA space, having started in 2020, so we are just now eligible to be in the rankings in the online MBA space. So look forward to working with Poets and Quants in that space as well.
Very good. Well, thank you all for those great introductions. We'll go back to you, Stacy, for our next question. Now, if you want to just dive a little bit deeper into the online MBA program, give us some particulars on how long it takes to complete, how long you've been around, general format, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. So going back a couple of decades, the Penn State World Campus, which is the online delivery arm of Penn State. So all of the academic programs live at the colleges, just like the resident program, but the World Campus is our partner in online delivery, and they've been delivering online education since 1998. The first iteration of what is now the online MBA program was called the iMBA. So we have been delivering in one form or another an online MBA experience since 2001. However, of course, as we've all talked about, as the market changes, it's up to us to be aware of those changes and what the market needs. So in 2016, it was determined that we had to make some significant changes to help meet market demand. And at that time, we took it from 2 starts to 3 starts. We changed our residency format. We added electives. We made it more flexible, more customized. Everything we know that working professionals need. So the current program, which has been running since fall 2017, students complete it typically in roughly 2 to 5 years. Though I would say most are in that 2.5 to 3.5 range. It is very flexible. So students determine how many classes they want to take at a time. And sometimes that's 1, 2, 3. Sometimes they need a semester off. And they can rotate that pace any semester based on what their needs are. Our core classes are offered in every single semester, so there's a lot of flexibility with that. In addition, we have the option in our concentration. We have 27 different concentration options. Many of those concentrations also stack with professional graduate school certificate credentials from Penn State. So in many cases, by picking a concentration, you can simultaneously earn your credits towards your MBA and also credits toward a professional graduate certificate from Penn State. The way the portfolio is built, these electives are also meant to tie in with other degree programs. So it gives students the opportunity in many cases, if they want to explore doing 2 degrees concurrently, they can double count some of those credits. So there are some prerequisites with how they take the core, but there really is a lot of flexibility there. Overall, the program is 48 credits. 39 of those are core classes: accounting, finance, marketing, strategic management, many of the things most MBA programs offer, with a few things sprinkled in that we think really make our program palatable on both the soft skill side as well as the hard skill side, including team performance, our leadership, communication, and change management course, managing in the digital economy, ethics, managing and leading people. So trying to balance those hard and soft skills. Our delivery is a combination of asynchronous and synchronous delivery. So everything that is required is asynchronous. We know that for some people, a Tuesday morning might be when they need to do classes, or a Thursday night or a Sunday afternoon. So it is very flexible. However, we also know that some students do want to engage live with faculty and classmates. So we offer synchronous sessions in the evening that are strongly encouraged, but there is no penalty if you miss them. They are recorded. So we don't ever want to penalize someone who might have a family emergency or get stuck at work. So that's a little bit about our program: credits, duration, flexibility, and I'm sure we'll be digging deeper into a few things as we go forward. Thank you, Christy.
Thank you. Chelsea, tell us a little bit about your program, the length to completion, how long you've been around, flexibility, asynchronous, synchronous, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. So we have offered online courses in our professional MBA program since 2007. And so it's had a long history of an in-person program prior to that. In fall 2019, we launched our fully online program. And so we kind of carried that in-person with a few online classes and that history with our professional MBA program to the online MBA program. Our courses are 8 weeks in length. That's a relatively new change for us. And that also allows students to take 2 classes a semester, one at a time. We do have a very flexible program as well. Students can take time off. They can take part of the semester off and then re-engage for the second 8 weeks. They can take extended time. We see most of our students completing our program. The quickest is 1.5 years, but most are about that 2 to 3 year range, and they have up until 10 years. So if there's a major career shift and they have to take some time away, they can come back and finish the program as well. We also have a shared portfolio of courses, so it's possible to embed certificates into your MBA experience. We also have a dual degree with our master's in business analytics, so we see a lot of students who are focusing on the MBA, the leadership track, but then also the technical side of the business analytics. We also have a lot of students who will start certificates and then come back to finish as well. So it really is focused on being able to maximize from a professional perspective what works best for you in those as well. We do have in our MBA curriculum, we have 9 core courses and 6 electives, which contributes to that. And we also have a lot of opportunities for students in the online MBA program. We recently in spring 2022 merged our professional and our online MBA programs into the Iowa MBA, which means that students in our online program have the opportunity to attend in-person classes if they'd like, or they can continue the program online as well.
That's great. Sherry.
Yes, our program is 45 credits. It typically, we admit people 3 times a year. The program typically lasts 28 months. It is 7 semesters. Students typically go through in a cohort, although they certainly can take a leave of absence and come in and out as they need to. In fact, we admitted our first class in 2020, as I mentioned, and we're graduating the very first class in just a few weeks. And almost 100% of them went through without leaving and are graduating this very first time. So they tend to stay with the cohorts, although we certainly have the flexibility to come in and out as needed. The program requires about 25 hours a week of your time and attention to get through the coursework at that pace. Our terms are 7 weeks each. Typically, students take 1 class at a time, although they may take 2 classes at a time, 2 shorter classes at a time from time to time. After 1 year, they can get into their concentrations. We have at this time 3 concentrations in finance, business analytics, and leadership and strategy, but we are adding more concentrations going forward. So that's my answer right now. I know we'll get into more details a little bit later.
That sounds great. And Narissa, what about at Gies?
So at Gies, listening to everyone talk about their program, we do have, quite a bit of overlap in how our program is structured. I think the very attractive thing about our program is affordability. So the price point for our online MBA program, which we also dubbed the IMBA, is a little bit over $23,000. By credit hour, it's $320 per credit hour. Our program is 72 credit hours, and our program was built largely to mirror what we did offer before with respect to our residential MBA program. So our program is 72 hours in total. Students complete 48 hours of core business classes. So we call that the core curriculum. And then they complete the remaining 24 hours as a part of doing what we call a focus area or specializations. And students can select 2 specializations for 12 credit hours each. We have 5 specializations in digital marketing, entrepreneurship and innovation, business analytics, global challenges in business, which is a pretty cool specialization, as well as we recently launched mergers and acquisition as a brand new finance focus type of specialization in our programs. With respect to the history, the IMBA as an online program started in 2016, and we started with a cohort of about 115 students, and over the last 6 years, we've grown 50-fold. We're actually on target to serve over 5,300 enrolled online MBA students in 2022, and on top of that, we have 400 learners enrolled in our IMBA courses as non-degree students. So students can actually take a single course with us from our IMBA portfolio. And we also have what we call a performance admission track. So students who need to get their GPA up before being admitted to our program can start out by taking 3 courses and build their GPA and then go through the admissions process. And the 3 courses that they complete stacks right into our online MBA program. Now, with respect to stackability, we just announced a new initiative where many of our individual courses, again, stack right into our IMBA program. We also have a sister program, which is an online master's in management, which is based on the core curriculum, the 9 courses out of the MBA. Those core courses is a part of our master's in management, and learners, if you complete the master's in management, you can actually stack that right into the IMBA. And our master's in management is 36 credit hours. So if you complete the master's, you're halfway to earning the MBA. And so if you have aspirations to complete an MBA, we're not going to tell you to do the 72 credit hours again. We're also launching a slew of graduate certificates. Many of these graduate certificates mirror or specializations. So we're launching one in digital marketing in January. We also have certificates with respect to strategic leadership and management and accounting data analytics. And with respect to accounting, we do offer a joint MBA and master's in accounting as well. So students, if you finish up the MBA program, you do another 20 credit hours, and you can also earn a master's in accounting. And so many of the graduate certificates that we're offering combines courses from our MBA program / MSM program, as well as our accounting program. And each of our certificates, again, can stack right into the online MBA as our penultimate credential across our portfolio. Lastly, with respect to time to completion, most of our students complete the program within 2 to 3 years. So the average is 2.5 years in completing the program. It's very self-paced. Students can do a course at a time or 2 to 3 courses. If they want to take a break and then come back and do courses as well, our program is totally flexible. Students have up to 5 years to complete the MBA based on our grad college policies. So I know many of these details we will get into, and so I'll pause right there.
All right. Well, I think that several of you mentioned concentration. So let's maybe go a little bit deeper into that. Sherry, can you tell me a little bit more about the concentrations that you guys offer, when they can be selected, what kind of guidance and support students receive in that process? Yes.
Currently, we offer the 3 concentrations that I mentioned, and we're about to add more, which I will talk to you about as well. A year into the program, the students are given the opportunity to select their concentrations. We have a fabulous group of faculty in the area of leadership and strategy. So we have courses in that area that dive deep into leadership theories and into the implementation of strategy with subject matter experts that are world renowned in that area. We also have an entire Master of Science and Business Analytics degree with a faculty from that program teaching in the concentration courses in our business analytics concentration that help students understand how to basically organize their organizations or the world's data for that matter, and to organize it so that they can tell stories with the data and convince people of their decisions that need to be made. And then finally, we have a concentration in finance, and that's organized around equity research and understanding all the ins and outs of investing in corporate funds and even personal funds. And so students come away with that with much more sophistication and learning about investment strategies and so forth. We are also partnering with our School of Professional Studies to be able to offer concentrations in the near future for the next incoming classes in digital marketing and in project management with accompanying certificates, as well as a concentration in sustainability. So we're very excited to be adding those moving forward. And again, people start taking their concentration courses about a year into the program. And they don't have to choose a concentration if they want to. We're flexible. They can take a selection of any of those courses that they'd like, or if they see something else in the university or the school of business that they think they'd like to take that we aren't offering, they can make a proposal to the certification committee, and we would give them the option to do that as well. We also have a global immersion course where students are able to travel to different parts of the world with faculty. This year, we're going to Portugal and Morocco for one trip, and to Zurich and Dubai for the other trip. And students in the online programs will travel with students in our on-ground and hybrid programs on those global immersion trips as well. And those may count as their concentration courses.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Narissa, do you have anything more to add about your concentrations at Gies?
Yeah, so as mentioned, we have 5 concentrations that our students can select from. We have 5 starts to our program, so we have 8-week courses as well. So students can start January, March, summer, and then in the fall, they can start August and October. We try to get students to wait at least until their second 8-week semester to think about which concentration that they wish to focus in, which specializations to choose. Students can at least take, again, our specializations are built around 3 courses, 12 credit hours total. They can take one of those courses from the specialization, figure out if they like it, and then, make a determination on whether they wish to pursue the other 2 courses. Of course, they can't do that all the time. So we ask them to at least wait until their second semester, but there is flexibility as well that, we do have an elective path. So you can choose one of the 5 specialization areas and then decide to choose an elective path. And so even if you do try out some of the courses and the specializations and you decide you don't want to move down that path, those electives will still count towards building out an elective path with respect to your second concentration. We do offer videos to kind of explain the different concentrations and how they align to the subject matter, and students will learn what skill sets they can gain from taking a particular specialization before actually diving into it. Or MBA program, and pretty much what we do within Gies is tied a lot to analytics and data-driven decision making. So I think our business analytics concentration does offer quite a lot to our learners in thinking about how to engage in decision making, but using data and visualization to help you to make those decisions. So that's kind of a pretty neat part of the specializations that we offer. And then, as I mentioned, we just launched a brand new mergers and acquisition specialization that is tied to finance, investments, complex accounting as well with respect to mergers and acquisitions. We also offer immersions as a part of our program. So students, when they're doing their core curriculum as well as their specializations, they have to do a program capstone, and then they can select 2 other capstones. And those 2 other capstones must be tied to their specialization areas as well. These capstones are entirely case-driven. Students can actually do an immersion to count for one of those capstones. And we do both in-person and virtual immersions because not everybody will have the opportunity to travel to a location to do an in-person immersion. But we offer 2 in-person immersions each year, as well as 2 virtual immersions. We were pretty excited to get back out on the road this year after the pandemic, and we took students to Seattle. We're taking students to Houston in January to learn about aerospace and energy. And then in August, we're going to go international again. And so experiential learning and in-person engagement, even though we are an online program, is still very important to us, providing those opportunities for students to engage with each other outside of remote connections. Of course, we know not everybody is going to be able to take up such opportunities. So that's why we still focus a lot on making sure that there are virtual immersion opportunities to engage with your classmates outside of the virtual classroom in different venues.
Yeah. Stacy, how about at Penn State? Do you have some more detail on the concentrations?
Sure. So we do have 27 concentration offerings. The top 5 are typically strategic leadership, business analytics, corporate innovation and entrepreneurship, general management, and finance. We also offer a global immersion experience. So that can be built in either on top of a functional concentration, or it can be paired with another global course to be part of the general management concentration. And our general management concentration is basically an a la carte if somebody doesn't want to commit to just having their full concentration in one particular area. We ask applicants on the way in what concentration they're interested, just to get an idea of their goals and focus, but we don't hold them to that. So some people really know what they want on the way in, and that's great. Sometimes there is an applicant who becomes a student who has a business need to start some of their electives very early in the program. And in some cases, we let them. It depends on what kind of prerequisites we have for certain concentrations. But we have a one-on-one advising session with every single one of our students that come in. We too provide them with videos to give them an idea of what the concentrations are about, to help them make their decision. Depending on how quickly they want to move through the program, if there's someone who's going to take 3 or 4 years, they may not have to decide their concentration until after 2 years in the program. If they're looking more at the 2-year track, they might have to decide by semester 2 or 3. So again, it's very individual, and that planning is done with one of our advisors. If someone watches a video, our advisors are great at giving the high level version, but if somebody really gets into the meat of choosing a concentration and they want to go deeper, that's when we would connect them with the faculty members who teach for a one-on-one conversation, current students who are pursuing the concentration, or alumni. So a lot of similarities here across some of our programs, but that's a little bit about Penn State and our concentrations.
Very good. Thank you all. Oh, I'm sorry. Chelsea, please tell us about Iowa Tippie.
Absolutely. So we do offer concentrations through our graduate level certificates. So similar to others, you can establish that concentration at any point in time. In fact, you can start as a standalone certificate student and then apply to the Iowa MBA and continue. Also, along the theme of our lifelong learning partnership with our students, you can also complete your degree and come back and finish a certificate as well. So when the program launched in fall 2019, we had 4 primary certificates in finance, business analytics, marketing, and leadership. It was quickly followed by a certificate in innovation through our entrepreneurship department. And what you've seen within the last year is the launching of more specialized certificates and/or cross-functional certificates. And this is based on feedback from students, but also our employer partners and our advisory boards as well. So within the last year, we've released more specialized finance certificates in corporate finance and investment management. Also, a financial decision-making certificate for the non-finance major or managers that need those skills. We also recently launched a responsible resource management certificate, and we'll kind of continue to offer those specialized experiences. The majority of our certificates can be completed in 4 to 5 courses, and a lot of that can be done embedded within your degree. And with the use of core courses or waivers, you can earn multiple certificates. I mentioned earlier about our dual degree with our master's in business analytics. So a student could start as an MBA student, add on the business analytics certificate within our 15 courses, and then decide to pursue a second master's for an additional 5 courses. So a lot of our students, similar to Penn State, they may start and have an idea that may change along the way. So working with our advisors, they can really help guide on the coursework that the student has already completed and what are their options, and that can change. And we do give the students the flexibility to do that, to start in one certificate, maybe abandon that certificate, move into something else, and never really fully close that door. As I mentioned, students have 10 years to complete our program. They also have 10 years to use our courses towards certificates. So the new certificates that we're launching, if a student was not in the is currently not in the program, they've already graduated, they can come back and finish the courses they need to complete those certificates.
Yeah, great. Narissa, back to you. Let's talk about any opportunities that the online students have to come together and network.
Yeah, thanks, Christy. As I mentioned previously, even though we are an online program, we are focused on providing, in-person opportunities, just like a traditional residential MBA, still trying to make sure that those opportunities are still available for learners who wish to partake in in-person engagement. And so, as I mentioned, or immersions that we're doing both domestically and internationally, that is like one of the greatest opportunities to not only engage with current learners, but also to learn while you're on the immersion. So, the goal of the immersion is to go to a city and be immersed in, business environment and the culture that exists within that location as well. On our immersions, we tend to have between 40 to 45 students that join or in-person immersions. With our virtual immersions, we're able to accommodate more than the 40 to 45 limit. With the in-person immersions, we're limited to how many people can hold on one bus because trying to do an immersion with 2 buses going to different locations can be a little bit hairy. Another neat thing that we do for in-person engagement is every September we host, I would say, a one-of-a-kind conference for online learners and alumni called iConverge, and it means everybody converging on Illinois as a campus. So, come down to Champaign, Illinois, and that has just grown tremendously. So in September, we had over 500 online learners and alumni pretty much descend on campus for a series of speakers, panels, again, opportunities to interact with their fellow students. We host dinners. Like it's like a 3-day event, and it's kind of like our learners come into campus like the Mecca of where it all starts. They get to see the studios, they get to meet faculty, and pretty much when they meet our faculty, like they see our faculty as little rock stars because they, kind of all see them only on the screen, and then getting to meet them in person is such an awesome opportunity. On top of that, we do host what we call iConnects, which are larger events that we host in cities across the US and sometimes internationally, especially as we get back out on the road. And we usually sometimes tie this to our immersion. So when we go to Houston in January, we're going to do an iConnect, and we're going to invite learners and alumni within the Houston metro area and beyond as well. And the expectation is that we'll have 100 online learners and alumni attend iConnects. We also do meetups, and so learners on their own, and this is done also very organically, or learners can find each other in a city, and we definitely encourage them to do so. We have a workplace app which is run by or owned by Meta. It's kind of like Facebook. And so learners, once they join our program, they post on Workplace their name, information about themselves, where they're located. And so in different cities, learners can get together and do meetups to meet each other. When faculty and staff from Illinois are also on the road, we're also hosting opportunities for meetups where we pull the list of learners and alumni that are in that city. We reach out to them and say, hey, can you join us for dinner to just chat about the program? And they also get to meet other learners that they may not have known existed in that city. So I've been on a fun tour where I've done some meetups this year in New Orleans, Lincoln, Nebraska, New York, and our learners definitely do come out. Lastly, we also have a student council, which is an online graduate business association that also hosts and plans events for our learners. So in January, they're planning, and they've done this in the past, what we call winter takeover. And so it's tied to a basketball game on campus. And so again, it's an opportunity for learners to come to campus, descend on campus in the winter. Attendance rate is pretty high. We're expecting over 100 learners to come to winter takeover as well. And we'll host a iConnect. So we're very committed to really getting out on the road, engaging with our learners in person, and doing so broadly, not just in the US, but internationally as well. And also assisting learners to do meetups themselves organically. So whenever learners are saying, hey, I want to do a meetup in LA or Singapore or some other country, we're like, great, we're actually going to ship you some Gies swag so that you can have that meetup, but have some, mementos from the school as well.
Wow, that sounds really fun. How about you, Stacy, at Penn State, networking and gathering opportunities for students?
Sure. So a couple of similarities to Illinois. Our global immersion is also cross-program. So our executive MBAs, our resident MBAs, all of our professional graduate programs at the master's level at SMEAL are eligible to go on that trip. And it's a great opportunity. The last time, like everybody else, probably we were able to go was 2020. So we're really excited to offer that again in the spring. And our locations, Morocco is a popular one. It sounds like Wake Forest will be going there. Morocco, Peru, Vietnam, and Turkey are our destinations. In addition, so all of our career events on campus are also open to online students. So on occasion, some students do want to connect directly with employers and recruiters. So they come to campus, and that's a great opportunity to network with some of their residential counterparts as well. And then we hold a weekend every fall called Lion Weekend, standing for Leadership Immersion and On-Campus Networking, similar to Illinois, a 3-day event with some opportunities for leadership development, to hear from their faculty, to do some activities that help them connect with folks who started in other intakes or who are participating in other programs.
Awesome. Chelsea, how about you?
Yes. So as I mentioned earlier, our online MBA, we've merged with our professional MBA program to the Iowa MBA. So online students have the opportunity to take in-person courses if they're available on our campuses in Cedar Rapids and Des Moines. They're also able to participate in in-person events. We also recently this fall hosted our first destination course, which was a course that primarily met online and then met in Iowa City on main campus for a full class day. We also paired that with some traditional University of Iowa Hawkeye experiences, including a Hawkeye football game and tailgate. So students were able to get on campus, explore with their families, participate in the Hawkeye wave at our football stadium, and have some of those student experiences. We also had some networking events where we invited everyone. So students who were traveling from afar and local students and faculty, they got to meet each other in person, which was a really great experience as well. We also have a global learning opportunity course that is an elective in our curriculum, which similarly they meet online, but then there is a global component, a trip included with that. And our upcoming destinations in January are Panama, and then in May they'll be going to Iceland. So they have that opportunity to meet with people in person, but also get some international travel there as well. We also have opportunities through our alumni network and our iClubs, and similar to others on the panel, when we have staff who are on site hosting events on what we call our extended campus. So different areas where we have high concentration of students, they can get together. And most recently, we hosted meetups in Seattle, Denver, and Nashville. We also definitely empower students to gather their local classmates and have kind of more of an organic meetup, and we'll provide them an opportunity in the communication to be able to share that with their fellow students. So that way, in addition to the networking opportunities that we have virtually and in the course room and building relationships in that way, they have an opportunity to do that in person as well.
Thank you. And Sherry.
Thank you. So there's a lot of similarities here. I will add that we have a concept in our MBA programs called One MBA. And whatever we offer to one MBA, we offer to all MBAs. And so under that philosophy, everything that we do, including global immersions, special events, alumni events, informal meetups at a brewery, career events, whether they're on campus or online, whether they're in Winston-Salem or whether they're in Charlotte, we invite our online MBA students. Most of our students are in North Carolina, although they are all over the country. They tend to be concentrated in North Carolina, so they can typically come out to an event that may be 50 miles or so from their home. We have done things like football tailgates. We have had events in Charlotte, like going to one of the new Charlotte football club. They have a new soccer club in Charlotte, going to a football club event. And so we have our first group of students after a hiatus of no global trips for a while, our first online MBA students going with us on the 2 global immersion trips that we're talking about. So everything that any MBA does, online MBA students do. And we love to have all the different groups be able to come together and get to know each other. And the online MBA students love to come and see our beautiful campus. And they love to get to know the students from the other cohorts as well. We have a great network.
Yeah, great. Well, we have just a couple of minutes left. Such great information from everybody. So I think for this last question, everybody gets a chance to kind of tell me the biggest differentiator, the biggest thing that makes it special, and just, tell us what makes your school, the unique program, I guess. Sorry, I'm stumbling over here. Chelsea, we'll start with you for this one.
Absolutely. So at the Iowa MBA, we are a big program with a small program feel. We really focus on building the connections between students, and it's between students to students and students to faculty as well. I think that what you'll see is we're very agile, a very flexible program, and that we take student feedback and we implement it. So we're really, staying true to what students need and helping them reach their career goals and customize the program to help them reach those goals.
Very good. Thank you. How about you, Narissa?
I think one of the distinguishing factors of our program is, we're pretty much a homegrown, home-built program, like many of the panelists here today. The same faculty that actually teach in our on-campus programs are the same faculty that as learners will actually meet in our virtual classroom. And so everything that we do from the instructional design, the videography, the running of our synchronous high engagement sessions are all done by people that are hired and trained by Illinois. And so you're pretty much getting a program that's built internally, and also features the great talent of faculty that we have here within our program. As I mentioned before, like experiential learning and or immersion experiences are kind of the heart of what we do here at Gies. And so even within our undergrad program, experiential learning is huge, where we source projects from companies that our undergrads are actually working on real business cases with real life companies. And so in many ways, with respect to our online MBA program, we bring in that same engagement with real life cases, with real life companies directly in our capstones, directly in our immersions as well. And so kind of bringing in, those distinguishing points that we're known for as a college directly into our online programs. Just as Chelsea said, we definitely listen to our learners and try to build out content that meets their needs, but we're also watching the marketplace and making sure that electives that we add to our program, new specializations are definitely meeting the market demand for, a certain set of skill sets. For example, we recently launched a brand new elective with respect to risk management. We're in conversations with units on campus to build out content related to healthcare, and also kind of leveraging the expertise that we have, not only just within Gies, but also within our campus, and then bringing that into our MBA program.
I'm so sorry that we have to wrap this up. I know that you all have a lot more great things to say, and I encourage all of our viewers to reach out to our panelists and our schools directly with any follow-up questions that you have. And thanks each of you for your time and expertise on this. And everybody have a great day, and thanks for watching.